Welcome back to the Mina Show featuring Lenny, the only NFL podcast where one of the hosts calls the Giants' back running back Devin Singletary. That's Lenny. I just streamed him. That's how desperate I am in my ESPN War Room. I had Tyrone Tracy, who was giving me nothing.
Yeah.
And then I had to... The ESPN War Room League is so deep, and everybody, like, oh, you think Ollie Gordon? Nope. Trey Benson? Nope. You have to... Devin Singletary. I'm starting Devin Singletary. It's week 4. That's where I'm at.
I'm playing fantasy for the first time in a few years, and it's becoming why I don't play fantasy, which is I get so emotional about it. My feeling is, and I've said this a million times, but I gamble on golf, and I know how upset I get when someone misses a 6-foot putt that costs me money, and I don't want that emotion into football, and now I would fight Jameson Williams.
Nobody cares about our fantasy leagues, but people do care about week 4 of the NFL season. That voice you heard, if you're listening to audio, is Kevin Clark, host of This Is Football. He is here to help me preview and pick every week 4 game. As always, we are going to be discussing all of the games, some at more length than others. Kevin's handling some of them. I'm handling some of them. Some of them we're both doing, including Thursday Night Football, which NFC West, stacked.
Mac Jones.
This is right. This is a good game, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, so I take the home team, you take away, which means you get to pick a key for the Seahawks, and I'm on the Cardinals in this one. I'll go first on the Cardinals because I don't think I've really talked about them much at length due to like the easy part of the schedule and whatnot. So I wrote for my key, catch the damn ball. Was really frustrating watching the Cardinals game against San Francisco. Such a contrast between Ricky Pearsall making like great catches and great. We'll get to the Niners. Good. He's legit. And Harrison Jr. dropping just wide open deep shots. The running back dropped to catch a ball in the flats. Could have been a touchdown. At the end, I thought Zay Jones could have caught pass to essentially win the game. Very frustrating. Someone other than Trey McBride needs to be consistent in this offense, and it just has not happened.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is playing really hesitantly, and it's worrying me. And what's funny is, if you guys remember the first game he ever played in the NFL, like Next Gen Stats essentially had him as like the slowest player in the history of football. And my feeling on it was he's going to get better because he's not the slowest player in the history of football. But sometimes he plays like it, and he plays hesitantly. And the word I heard from someone this week was he tries to gather the ball every time he catches it. And I'm worried. I'm not on bust watch, but I'm worried it's not going to happen in the way we thought it was going to happen from Marvin Harrison Jr.
Some of it is the nature of the offense, which goes through Trey McBride.
But also he was open by 30 yards,
that was
and he dropped the ball.
Insane. From a matchup perspective, one thing so the Seahawks defense is extremely good. I really believe that. They have a little bit of it's early and competition matters at this point when you're looking at stats. It's a small sample size, but they have been much better on defending intermediate and deep passes than short. They're 5th in EPA per play on anything over 10 yards, 23rd under. And Kyler Murray has been pretty accurate throwing underneath this year, so I could see that being an element in this game, especially without James Conner, by the way. So now the running game is going to look different as well.
So the NFL put this out on their NFL Pro thing. I was checking earlier this week, looking at some of their stats, but they do have like some summaries in it. And I thought the most interesting one was that Kyler Murray throws over the middle of the field, obviously, at 38% of his pass attempts, 3rd highest in the NFL. Not a surprise. However,
Trey McBride,
yeah, exactly. However, the Seahawks are top 5 in defending the middle of the field.
They're really good.
That's the matchup for me as far as that goes. Yeah. The Seahawks defense, you mentioned it. They lead the league in limiting 10-yard runs. I think they've allowed like 1 or 2 the entire year. And there's some other teams that we'll get to later who are not limiting explosive runs. But you're talking about Trey Benson, who is coming in for James Conner. I thought he showed a lot at Florida State. I think he would have played a lot more for other teams that didn't have the depth that they have. So it's going to be the Trey Benson show. I'm intrigued to see it. And I just think the Seahawks defense is probably going to bottom up a little bit.
Seahawks defense, best in the NFC West, especially with the Nick Bosa injury.
One of the best in the NFL.
And one of the best in the NFL. The Cardinals are kind of just, I would say right now, it looks like they have a above average offense and above average defense, but they're not like killing you on either side of the ball, or they're not. They strike me as like pretty balanced, but they're still missing superstar performances. I am taking Seattle in this one. I don't want to overstate what we saw from the Seahawks offense against New Orleans, because I think the truth probably lies somewhere between what we saw the first week of the season versus San Francisco and what we saw last week. But it does feel like they at least have a concrete identity with Kubiak.
First of all, Calais Campbell led the Cardinals in pressures last week. He's just going to be good forever. He's just going to be good forever.
I love him so much.
Is Sam Darnold a stud? Has he exceeded your expectations?
It's way too early for me to, like I said, I
was looking at the numbers this morning.
Yeah.
Really good on intermediate passes, good on deep passes. I thought it was kind of, I did not expect him to be this good.
Well, okay. So this is a good test in that regard because the Steelers' defense turns out awful.
Awful.
The Saints' defense is obviously bottom 3 in the NFL. And week 1 versus San Francisco, the offense did not look good. So I think this is like Cardinals' defense I view as being like maybe like a little above average. They're probably in the 10 to 15 range. So this is a good test, right? Like we saw you struggle a bit against the Niners' defense when they were at full strength. We've seen you thrive against crappy defenses. Let's see how they look against an average. Are you on Seattle as well in this one?
I am on Seattle. I just think they're really good. I think Mike McDonald's an awesome coach.
Yeah, really, really good defensive coach. All right.
And Darnold's a stud. I'll say it. You don't want to say it. You don't want to.
I want him to be, but I just don't. The offense. This is a big one for me. It really is.
This is it. Thursday
night.
Just
let me see. Like, let me see you do well against a above average defense. I think the Cardinals defense is above average.
Stud.
JSN is a stud.
JSN's a stud.
Holy smokes! You know he's first league wide in yards per route run right now. He's a target monster, but he's so good. All right.
I just own it every. I've flipped so severely on Darnold that I can't. I guess I did not think it was going to work, and I'm so impressed. So he's on stud watch for me.
I hope it works. I mean, it's funny because I flipped from being like I was like a Darnold defender for like 8 years, and now I'm like a skeptic.
I get it.
I guess.
I get it.
People think it's about Geno. It's not about Geno Smith. It's really just about the Seahawks offense and the competition they've played for me. So let me see it this week, and then feel good. Okay, I gave you Vikings Steelers.
Yeah.
This is quietly an Aaron Rodgers revenge game because I think Aaron Rodgers wanted to be a Minnesota Viking.
I remember that.
Right?
5 months where that kept happening.
And you just know if they win this one, he's going to be like,
yeah.
Interesting choice they made at quarterback or some kind of comment.
All
right, it's Carson Wentz again.
Let me tell you why they're not going to win this game. Let me tell you why Aaron Rodgers is not going to get to do his revenge press conference. The Vikings pressured the Bengals, and this is the Bengals. But they pressured them on 60% of the dropbacks, okay? Again, it's the Bengals. They've got what can be described as a collegiate offensive line, maybe. But the Vikings, it was their best pass rush performance pressure rate-wise since 2018, okay? Guess who the worst quarterback through 3 games against pressure is in the entire NFL, and it's not particularly close.
Is he in his 40s?
He is in his 40s. That's correct. It is Aaron Rodgers, who I think his rating is like in the 30s against pressure, and it tracks. And I think that Rodgers can give. I'm a little more generous with my Rodgers takes than some people are. I think he's fine, but it would track that he's not amazing under pressure. When he got rid of the ball really quickly last year, really quickly. Like he changed the way he played last year in New York, and he got rid of the ball. I think it was like his lowest average up the target in his career. He wasn't doing the same things. It would stand to reason he struggles under pressure when you consider that he used to be amazing at just taking 3 steps to his right and throwing a 45-yard bomb. He doesn't do that anymore. It's adjusting. So it doesn't surprise me that through 3 games he has not figured out exactly how to operate in the Steelers offense. Having said that, especially when you don't go through mini camps and OTAs and all that stuff. And one of the things I thought was interesting, I talked to someone last week and they were saying, when does the Arthur Smith offense and the Aaron Rodgers offense kind of blend together in a meaningful way? It took LaFleur and Rodgers like a year for that, and they were like doing meetings in Malibu and all this stuff. Aaron Rodgers showed up for training camp, so it might take a while. And so that to me, that's something to watch. But I just see this Flores defense.
Yeah.
I mean, like Isaiah Rodgers is
crazy.
The first ever 99.9
I know.
PFF grade ever. PFF did a ranking of the best grades of all time, and Rodgers was first. Someone else had a 99, and it was Matt Spaeth, who was a Bear in 2012 and played against the Packers, and he had like one reception in that game. So he's a tight end. He must have blocked his ass off, and he got a 99.1.
I was gonna say, I'm like trying to remember.
No, it was stunning. And then Lamar Jackson, Andrew Whitworth, and Troy Reader all had above 98.
Troy Reader.
Yeah,
that's a funny
2022 one. Week 11, 98.3.
Wouldn't have guessed that. He's like drawn the ire of Rams fans for like years.
Troy Reader?
Yeah, he's like a linebacker who gives up a lot of big plays. Anyways,
not in week 11 of 2022.
Super Bowl run. So I agree with you about the Vikings defense. Watching the Steelers offense, it's just quick game. If you can take away quick game, that's it. The Vikings defense is first in EPA per play versus quick game this year. It just doesn't strike me as a good matchup. Carson Wentz, meanwhile, he's throwing the ball quick. Took some sacks. But I think they'll be able to run on Pittsburgh. I really liked what I saw from Jordan Mason last week, so I'm on Minnesota on this.
Did you see Mike Tomlin's quote about backup quarterbacks?
About Anthony Richardson?
Yeah.
That was mean. It's one of the meanest quotes I've ever seen.
It's also kind of mean about J.J. McCarthy.
What was the full quote?
The quote was, it was about how dangerous backup quarterbacks can be. And he said, "I told the guys last year to keep Richardson upright. Don't let Flacco win the game."
Yeah.
To me, that is obviously, someone was like, "That's a stray." No, it's a shot. It is not a stray. It was not like a backhand. It was like a straight up shot at Anthony Richardson. But I also think it was a stray at J.J. McCarthy.
Oh.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah. The Vikings.
I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on there.
Right, yeah. I'm not just Tomlin, yes. As far as how the Vikings handle this is going to be one of the biggest challenges of Kevin O'Connell's career.
To come up with different injuries to keep him out for the rest of the year. He's got a toe now.
All right. Speaking of backups, I've got Commanders Falcons. And I said that because Jaden Daniels is still day-to-day with a knee sprain, which makes this game hard to
And Terry McLaurin is gathering more information.
It's great.
When
I have him, CeeDee Lamb, and Tyrone Tracy in that ESPN league.
When you're gathering more information on an injury, it's usually not amazing.
Yeah, you don't want your wide receiver to be on JSTOR looking up like medical
seeking more
research
information
papers.
about the injury.
Okay.
Is what Schefter said. Seeking more.
So the Commanders did look good last week against the Raiders with Mariota, and I thought the Commanders' defense looked really good in that game. The pass rush has been quietly impressive. Bobby Wagner as a blitzer is just very effective.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about this from Atlanta's standpoint, though. We did this on NFL Live. This offense has to change. Like, it is so predictable and not fun to watch right now. Penix had a super meltdown game. It was really rough. But I think some of it can be fixed if they change what they're doing offensively. Because right now, I mean, all he does is throw hitches, outs, and throws to the flats.
With no play action.
There's no play action.
No.
They don't use the middle of the field. I think the question is, like, okay, how much of that is, like, Penix? Like, will he not go under center? Does he not throw over the middle of the field? And how much of it is scheme? But we talked about this on NFL Live. It's like it's clearly hamstringing Bijan Robinson because who I believe would be, like, one of the greatest under center, outside zone.
Yeah.
Like, if you, like, you watch what Jahmyr Gibbs is doing in Detroit, like, it's what Bijan should be doing. So I read somewhere that Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator, is moving to the booth or moving to the field.
Yeah,
or
moving to the field.
What phase is that in the this is over cycle for coaches? Moving to the field, is that phase one?
It's phase one. Yeah.
They also fired their wide receivers coach, which also feels like a phase.
Yeah.
Finding someone random to fire that nobody's thought of.
To fire. There's a couple things about it. Number one is that I was just listening to the Stock Exchange podcast, and they said that I guess PFF had uncovered that the Atlanta offense is tipping their pitches, and that they run from under center 92% of the time, and that shotgun is a pass, which is the sign of just an inexperienced offensive coordinator. Like just a guy. There's not a lot of self-scouting going on.
So weird, because that was the thing last year, and everybody was so loud, like, hey, it's pretty obvious your offense is really siloed, and then and all offseason I heard, no, they didn't change it with Penix because, they had to thrust him into the offense late season, and they didn't want to mess with it. Okay, cool, you had a full offseason. It looks the same. It looks worse because he's not pushing the ball downfield at all. This is Michael Penix Jr.
Zero deep completions from Michael Penix.
He had like a 15-yard average depth of target last year.
Zero. Literally zero.
I don't know. So anyways, this is my key for this game is Zach Robinson. Show me that you can change this up, and Penix, honestly, as well, or I'm out on this Falcons offense.
Yeah, for me, same deal. Michael Penix has struggled a little bit under pressure, and then you're playing this Commanders team. Again, taking out Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. Dorrance Armstrong, 14 pressures. Deron Payne, 11. Javon Kinlaw, Bobby Wagner, Von Miller, all over 7 last week. Like, this is a really good front 7 that can really get after you. And Von Miller, you don't even need him right now. So, like, my comp for Von Miller, I think it was like Suns Shaq. Like, you don't need Celtic. Like, you don't need Heat Shaq. He's not Heat Shaq. He wouldn't be available if he was Heat Shaq. And he's not Celtic Shaq. He can be Sun Shaq. And that is enough to get you where you need to be in January.
I am interested in seeing the Commanders' defense because that was my big question about the team,
yes.
And they've been, I think, decent early on.
Now my big question is the quarterback ever going to play ever again?
Yeah, it's hard to pick this game without knowing if he's there. I'm going to take the Commanders, though, anyways, because the Falcons' offense right now is just in full meltdown mode and has to prove otherwise to me.
I just need to unleash this take. So when I saw how soft, sloppy, and undisciplined Alabama was in week 1, I was like, oh, my God, Michael Penix is amazing. That Kalen DeBoer is a Michael Penix merchant. And now Michael Penix is bad. And now I'm workshopping whether or not they were all Rome Odunze merchants.
Who in that Huskies, because the Huskies offense, for those who don't know,
Polk,
was like
McMillan.
Destroying worlds.
Yes.
And the whole offense got drafted, basically.
Yes.
Like the offensive line, all the skill players.
And I don't know who was whose merchant.
And we're all trying to figure out, okay, like, right, because in year 1, I was like, was Jalen McMillan the best player the whole time?
Yeah.
Was Roger Rosengarten the key to everything?
Yeah.
And now Odunze is flourishing, which
Yeah.
was, he was the best receiver, clearly. It's hard to figure out who's merchant.
Well, that was the whole thing. Mel Tucker got like a $70 million extension at Michigan State because of Kenneth Walker.
That's really funny.
All it takes is one guy.
College football is so silly. Okay, you're next.
Yes.
Let's do Browns Lions game actually has some juice now.
It does.
Because you go. Yeah.
All right. So first of all, the matchup is very, very obvious. It's a defensive line that is absolutely
kicking
amazing.
But
against a top 3 offensive line in football, including Penei Sewell, who might be right now the biggest weapon in football.
I would regret not talking about him. On Monday we did a Lions-Ravens recap. He was so dominant in that game. I don't think it came up when we just talked about the Lions kicking the Ravens at the line scrimmage, but he was unbelievable in that game.
So Jordan Love was pressured on 45% of his dropbacks. That's 22 times in total. Myles Garrett, 4 pressures, a sack. 10 different defenders on the Browns had a pressure against the Packers. We'll talk about the Packers a little bit later. They should have won that game. The Packers should have won that game. But they didn't because of just the relentless pressure that baited Jordan Love into mistakes. And so to see the trenches on Sunday is going to be an absolute gift from the football gods. Thank you, football.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Browns defense has been really, really good at the run. They've shut down pretty much everyone. I mean, the Ravens were not able to run on them. They won because they got, and I think that's going to be key for Detroit, right? If they shut down the run, if they stack the box, can they kill them with play action? Is going to be massive. But the Browns' defensive line is so good, they might actually just blow up some of those play action dropbacks and early downs. But yeah, you're right. The Browns game against the Packers, they had the highest pass rush win rate. They had like an 78% pass rush win, which was the highest since last September when it was also the Browns.
Mason Graham is awesome.
He looks really good. I'm still taking the Lions in this one. I think that the play action pass, and then I think on the other side of the ball, Lions defense, what a great performance on Monday. I like that matchup for them.
I will say this. On my show on Sunday, I put a listener question. I said, what do you know about your team? Like, what is a certifiable fact? And I had a Browns fan say that the defense is so good that they're not getting a number 1 overall pick. And it's like, it's actually kind of funny. It's like, oh, you hit on Mason Graham. Myles Garrett's a demon. But surprise, you're going to pick 11th this year because of it.
You didn't pick Commanders, Falcons, by the way.
I'm going to go Commanders.
Commanders as well. Okay. Probably the biggest, or definitely the biggest gap of the week, or the biggest Saints Bills is moi. So look, we all know the score here. This might be Spencer Rattler's last stand before because he was good.
Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, they might after this make the change to Shuck.
That'll help.
I wrote for this, can Buffalo get explosive in this one? Because thus far in the season, Josh Allen has not really pushed the ball downfield, and he hasn't had to. So this is not a necessary, and there's going to be games where he's going to have to. Against Miami, that was he had a negative average depth of target. Okay, so the Saints defense is 30th in the EPA per play versus 15-yard plus passes. They allow a QBR of 98. Feels like there's going to be opportunity here. What I'd really like to see from the Bills, though, with the explosive passing game is have it be in structure, right? I know Josh Allen, if he's under pressure, can break the pocket and find someone. But I keep waiting. They have this dominant rushing attack. They put 3 tight ends on the field now, play action off of it. They're so good at running out of it. But there's no shot plays off of it. With Detroit or something, and kind of I'm just watching it thinking, when are the shot plays going to come?
Who do you blame? Is that a Keon Coleman problem? Is that what is that?
I think they're so efficient, maybe, or they've been so efficient, they feel it doesn't matter. I don't know. Coleman, I mean, I think Kincaid could benefit from it. Josh Palmer, even there's no reason. It just hasn't clicked for them.
I'm going to just float something we talked about at dinner last night. I'm going to take shop something.
Okay. On the Bills?
Joe Brady goes to Miami.
We were talking about this.
He's from South Florida. Goes to be the head ball coach. Knows the division. Can dial up a play. Dolphins fan growing up. Canes fan growing up. Got some inside info on that. Mike McDaniel goes to Buffalo. Nothing but run scheme and shot plays with Josh Allen. Let's do it. Let's trade.
That would probably be the best possible outcome for everybody. Yeah. The Dolphins, I don't know how attractive. So I think we did the head coaches draft this summer, and Joe Brady was my, I think, number 1 pick, and then Jesse Minter was my number 2 pick. Is the Dolphins job appealing though? I know
there's
appealing. I know they're all appealing, but I'm just
But what's unappealing about it? You can get out of Tua's contract.
You don't have a quarterback.
You can find a quarterback.
I guess.
I mean, you can try to find how many.
Maybe if they really.
But what jobs with the quarterback are opening?
Well, yeah. The question is is there a job with a high draft pick? So I guess that's what it comes down to.
Right.
There'll be a job with the quarterback. There always is.
How bad is the Buffalo Saints game that we're doing Dolphins off season?
Your offensive court. You know who? Do you follow Victoria? I don't know she's a Bills fan who always makes fun of Mike McDaniel, and him becoming the offensive coordinator would be really funny. I mean, the Bills fans in general having to... he'd be really good at it. He's a really good run game designer. He's just obviously...
Let's just get this going. Let's just do it now.
Okay. So I assume we're both taking the Saints there. Yes.
The Bills.
Or the Bills.
I was like, what just happened?
My brain just glitched so hard. Okay. This game now has a lot of juice, pardon me, but you're just on it. Chargers-Giants. Jackson Dart's debut. Dominic, I talked about this briefly on Monday, but I assume that's going to be a pretty big key for you in this one.
Yeah. What do you do to get Jackson Darty's answers? And I think the answer is run 55 RPOs. And I think they're going to get their kicked. In general, I think this is a bad game to start with Jackson Dart. I think you had to do something because Russ Wilson's throwing the ball out of the end zone on 4th down. But the Chargers, from my standpoint, I mean, the key is what. If you're asking me, key, it's what do you do to make Jackson Dart look like a respectable NFL quarterback? And that to me, that's on Dable. Does Cam Scatabo help? I don't know.
He has to. I think.
Someone alerted me this week that Brian Dable was Peyton Hillis' offensive coordinator. So this is football heritage. So we'll see what happens
Spiritual
there.
air.
Yeah, and it's the Giants have the worst run defense in the league, so the Chargers will probably beat the brakes off of them. But also on the offensive side, Mike Sando had this in his column this week. The Chargers are throwing more often and deeper, and so they're going to test this Giants defense. I think they beat the brakes off of them, but I think what you're trying to see is and by the way, Joe Alt is a weapon, and he'll go against Brian Burns all game. But I think what you're just looking for if you're a Giants fan is, does Jackson Dart look like the future of the franchise who can save everybody's job? I think Joe Shane is pretty terrible. And I think that I don't think he should be the GM anymore.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's the capability that in the next 4 or 5 weeks, Jackson Dart just shows. And I don't think preseason to me, and this is a PSA for everybody. We got to stop preseason victory laps. We got to stop it.
Yeah,
and this is not just Jackson Dart, but it's like, oh, look at it. Oh, looks like we got a defensive end. No, you don't. You don't. You don't. And what was funny is I went to the Eagles-Bengals preseason game, and I was in Zach Taylor's press conference. And afterwards, everybody's like, well, what do you think about Shamar Stewart, whatever? And Zach Taylor would be like, guys, like, we're not running schemes, and like we're not evaluating players like that. That's just not how preseason works. And then you go on Twitter, and it's like all these people who are like, oh, look who's a stud. We got it. And so Shamar, whatever, right? But with Jackson Dart, I think probably just you and I going back and forth. Like you can find like preseason takes from like 2017. It's like August 8th. Nathan Peterman's ready to rock in this offense. Like. What happened in August has nothing to do with what's going to happen with Jesse Minter and Derwin James. And I mean, thank God Khalil Mack's out. Yeah. But like, there's going to be something. It's almost like Nick Saban talks about rat poison all the time. You almost wish he did worse in August, so expectations are lower because expectations should be low.
I think what you want to see from him in this game, if you're a Giants fan, is a quick trigger. I like the point about the RPOs. The Chargers are primarily a zone defense, and I think they make you be patient as a quarterback. They put a shell on it, and you got to work your way up the field. You got to take the 6-7 yard completions, and then you can hit them with double move. You can get big plays every now and then because of the way they play. Yeah, but you got to be patient, and he has to really they're gonna throw so much disguise at him on the back end, on the front as well. I wish I had more confidence in this Giants offensive line. I think, to your point, running the ball on them is exceedingly important in this one. Cam Scatabo is incredibly, you'd like to see some screens to neighbors. You'd like to see them moved. I mean, I have to think they're probably gonna have some designed runs for Dart, which was like his weird package usage last week. I would just say, not to overreact. This is a very good defense. If he struggles, it doesn't mean he's going to be bad. I just think it. No. And then the next week he'll probably ball out against the Saints. But yeah, I'm on the Chargers in this one.
They should have.
It's a tough first spot.
Can I float something? I know that everybody's excited to see Jackson Dart. Maybe you start Jameis this week. And then start.
I don't understand why they signed Jameis if not to do that. Like, why is he there?
I think he was signed in case they didn't draft a quarterback, and then they didn't trade him.
And they just didn't trade him. Yeah, it's weird that. Right, trade him. Russell Wilson. Anyone can trade for him? I don't know. Yeah, I like the Chargers. The thing about Malik Neighbors though on the short stuff and the screens is the Chargers tackle so well. So I guess I'm a little bit hesitant on leaning that too much. But they do have to find a way to get him involved. It can't just be deep balls, because last week was kind of unacceptable in that regard. All right, so I'm on the Chargers. I presume you are too.
Extremely.
Let's do one more before we take a break. That'll be me. Panthers, Patriots. Panthers coming off of a big win. So I wanted to highlight, like I said, it took me a second to get to this game, Ted McMillan. And potentially a matchup with Christian Gonzalez, who has been MIA thus far this season, but is finally back and could play in this game. We'll see. The way they've used Ted McMillan is interesting to me. Like, he's lined up in a lot of his, I think both of his big plays against Atlanta were in the slot. I just think you can look at him and say, well, he's not really like separating that. But there was one of the explosive plays. It was like a deep over. He had an out and up, and then a deep over versus Bowman, who's been quite good for Atlanta. And yeah, he's not a burner, and he's not an elite separator. But he's such the over in particular really caught my eye. He's such a smooth route runner at his size, and then he catches. He's got great hands. He only had 3 catches in this game, but a few of the passes were way off target. I just think he's so good. And this Patriots pass defense has some real weaknesses, and we'll see if Gonzalez comes back. So I really like what they're doing with McMillan, and I really feel like he is the key to, can like the Panthers offense be more consistent? Just as much as they can get him involved, the better.
Patriots defense last week missed 14 tackles.
Yeah.
Which is the most, according to Next Gen Stats, since 2018. Week 2 of 2018. Which, by the way, what was Belichick doing? Like, in 2018, 14 missed tackles? Let's go. I just think that they've been a little sloppier. The Patriots have been a little sloppier than I thought they were going to be. I thought...
Dude, I mean, the last week was insane against Pittsburgh. They completely gave that game away. Drake May
5 turnovers.
Drake May had 1 fumble in that, but otherwise he was actually quite good in that game against admittedly bad Steelers defense.
I thought the way they professionalized the roster and rather than Vrabel was a good coach, I didn't expect to see games like that. That looked like last year's Patriots team. Maybe it takes longer than I thought.
I think there's a bounce back opportunity, for Drake May against this defense. I know the Panthers defense just destroyed Michael Penix Jr., but I think they'll come back to earth a little bit. So I am gonna go Pats here.
I'm going Carolina.
Yeah, this one.
I like Carolina. I think they're gonna go in a little maybe they go in a mini run here. Let's go.
Little mini run.
Yeah.
All right.
Mini run.
All right. Let's take a break. Come back and talk about one of the best games of the weekend. Let's do Eagles-Bucks here.
Do you think the Eagles' offense is boring?
I didn't watch the Drew Brees actual take on that. You just said,
he respects them because he said, first of all, Drew Brees, he was on my show a couple weeks ago. He's really good. And he's going to be good in that role on First Take. I think he's very thoughtful. And I don't think he was giving a take just to give a take. I think that there's something. I think Drew Brees comes from it's funny because Drew Brees had a very low average at the target for the last few years of his career. But I also think that I understand, especially when you talk about the short yardage tush push stuff, there is a lack of drama with that play that I kind of understand.
Is that what he was? The Eagles' offense is not like heavily schemed up at all. It's basically just like, hey, we have better players than you. Let's win.
Yeah.
And that's just what you do when you have that roster.
That's what you do.
But
also in the second half last week, they really opened up the downfield passing game.
Yeah.
Against the Rams. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. That is the premise of the we have better players than you offense is you have to use the better player, the superior players.
And there's the sense of like we'll do whatever it takes to win. Like Nick Saban has that whole thing about the illusion.
Yeah, but they weren't for a half.
No,
That's
but
what
I'm saying what I'm saying is they were like, okay, we have to do that. We have to open up the downfield passing attack. Like I think it was Hurts was like had more 10-yard downfield throws in the second half than he had in the 5 quarters before that.
I don't think they get credit for they should have like.
They get credit for winning. They're 3-0.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying I've seen like it. I feel like they deserve to be demerited to Kevin Patullo more for waiting that long to throw the football, but whatever. All right, so I'm going to focus on the Bucs side of this, though. This is a matchup we've seen a lot in the playoffs. For a while, it was the kind of bane of Jalen Hurts' existence when they were blitzing him. That is going to be a huge factor in this as well, because Jalen Hurts has been better when he's non-blitzed. He's 5th in QBR versus 25th when he's been blitzed this year. The Bucs still love to bring pressure. They blitz at the 5th highest rate in the NFL. They get a 50% pressure rate. They actually have good rushers, like Diaby's been really good for them in particular, but that's something to expect. But I want to focus on the other side of the ball because Mike Evans is banged up, which makes it really hard to find Adoree Jackson in this one, or whoever CB2 is. I do think Tampa can run the ball on them because the Eagles' defense has been good, but they've really given up a lot of it's not like so much explosive runs, but they're getting kind of, and some of that is structural because of the way they play. They play with lighter boxes. Some of it is competition, but Kyron Williams had a 55% success rate running on them. They're 30th right now in they got for the Baltimore Ravens. So Tampa, we love the run rushing attack with Bucky Irving and Rashad White. I think they lean heavily on that in this one.
There are also two teams that you mentioned the Mike Evans injury, but these teams have genuine depth, and part of it is because they really do best player available every single year. And I think, and I always say this, and I've said in this pod before, but like the old Billy Bean line, if you have to do something, you're screwed. Like these teams, like nobody was like, oh, wide receiver depth is an issue in Tampa Bay. It doesn't matter. We're going to take the leading receiver in Ohio State history, and he's going to perform immediately. Yeah. And so I think what's cool to me, I think these are two of the best rosters in football and two of the best GMs in football. That to me is the most intriguing part, just seeing the trenches go at it. I mean, like Jordan Davis, I don't know, I don't know how sticky block kicks for touchdowns are, but like that just shows you.
I feel like if you're that size,
well,
it's like more likely to happen
and he was
than
moving
it is.
Did you see he was like the fastest 330-pound player in the history of
unbelievable
anything?
In the whole game. He was unbelievable. He made like multiple game-changing plays.
Yes, and he slimmed down a little bit, and it's like a contract year, and so. Like when you're getting contributions like that from guys you weren't expecting elite contributions for, that's where the roster comes in. That's where you're just like, what do you do? How do you stop these guys over 17 games?
What is your key for Philadelphia?
For me, it's to take what the second half showed.
Hey, A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown. Like, it's so funny because you mentioned, like, we're just going to have better players. Like, that's actually the key is, like, use your better players and use it. Like, just take the second half of last game and throw the ball 14 yards down the field, throw it to A.J. Brown, and go from there.
Especially because the Bucs do have a really good run defense. They're going to blitz. Like, you kind of know what you're getting from them. It does feel like you're going to have to air it. You're going to have to come with a plan for the pressures, and then you're going to have to air it out. I'm taking the Eagles in this one. I just think the Bucs, the Mike Evans injury, and I think the Eagles offense kind of found something in the second half that they can build on. But it should be a good game.
I'm going to go with the Bucs.
Go
Diaby is one of the
He's good, dude.
most efficient pass rushers in football this year.
It looks like it. He looks really good to me. Vita Vea is still amazing. And they have some fun young players in the secondary, too. I really, but Parrish. But, like, A.J. Brown is A.J. Brown. I mean, how many humans on earth do you really believe can...
Did the Eagles know that?
That's what I'm saying. Okay. I got Titans-Texans. Okay, let me put it this before we get... no, we picked the game. All right. I'm going to give you a second to talk about Cam Ward because you're the sort of world's foremost Cam Ward defender now.
They're changing the play caller this week, and I would like to raise my hand to call plays. If you let Bo Hardegree's calling the plays this week, if you let someone else like install the schemes and let me pick the plays, I would be really good at Cam Ward.
How many times have you personally yelled at Calvin Ridley watching these games?
Oh, I mean it's. You talk about fights.
Let me position it. Okay, so the Texans are 0-3. This is it. I mean, I said the same thing last week. I was like, this is it. But this is like it's over. Heads roll. We might get a Nick Caley mid-season firing. By the way, that should be on the table. But am I crazy for taking the Tech? This is my survivor pick because I'm like, they can't go 0-4 against the Titans, right? The defense is too good.
I want to highlight one thing. These are the two by far worst first down conversion teams in
Yeah.
football. So they're
Believable.
the Titans are converting 61%. They get a first down on 61% of their possessions. The Texans are 63%. That should not be happening with C.J. Stroud. The Texans are only getting first downs on 12% of their first downs, which is second lowest in the NFL. So the whole, if you measure explosive plays, typically it's first downs on first down. It's like how often can you get 14 yards on first down? That is usually the sign of a really good offense. Warren Sharp has been on this for a long time. The Texans are the exact opposite of that. The Titans are even better. The Titans are 15% of first downs on first down. This is going to be an ugly watch.
The Texans defense, which by the way, you saw they get rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
I did. Locker room issues.
You remember that viral tweet where somebody was like talking about, I think, like giving up kids for like adoption or something,
okay.
And it was like, have you ever considered that maybe the kids' lives were bad?
Yeah.
That's how I feel every time I read a story about C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's never been more apparent from the outside that somebody just
bad.
has really terrible vibes.
Threw a punch in a playoff game a couple of years
Multiple
ago.
punches over the years. Practice, like his own teammates. The Texans,
he's from Central Florida, though, so
no.
we've all got a bad vibe to us. We're all unpleasant to be around.
The Texans' defense is just it's depressing because they're so good still, and every game they make it like competitive, even though the offense is just a complete. Shout out to Bobby Slowick, man. They thought it couldn't get worse. It got worse. He must be watching these games. I don't know if he's like in a college team somewhere, calling plays or whatnot, but he has to feel somewhat vindicated watching this Texans offense.
Have you seen the "it can't get worse than this" TikTok meme from soccer? Okay, I need to explain this. This is one of the funniest things in my life, and it's huge in Europe, and it bleeds over to American TikTok, sports TikTok. There's this manager named Mick McCarthy, and he's like been around the block, and he's like a John Fox type. He's like kind of a classic retread.
Okay.
And there's a question in a press conference where this guy goes, Mick, 3 points in 15 games. It can't go on like this. And Mick McCarthy just goes, it can.
It can.
It can. And like, I think it is just so deeply embedded in my cranium now. Whenever I think things can't get worse or things can't go on like this, it can. And when I'm looking at this Texans team, I just don't know.
Yeah.
The offensive line.
Okay.
The original sin for the Texans to me is thinking that different people on the offensive line meant better people on the offensive line.
So, in my defense, I was very critical of the offensive line. Second, they signed Laken Tomlinson from the Seahawks, and I got word that he was going to start.
That was a recession indicator.
Listen, that said, it's week 4. It's way too early to make huge this is what I know already pronunciations, or we've learned this, or taking L's on takes. But I'm going to say 2 things right now, and I want to be held accountable by my viewers. I will never have faith in a team with a crappy offensive line again. Because going into the season, I was like, well, Texans will win the division. They'll be fine. I thought the offensive line was going to be a problem. I was skeptical about the offense really bouncing back, but I was like, they'll figure it out. No. 2, I am never, ever again going to endorse a team with a bad offensive line drafting a running back. Never.
Yeah, with the Raiders.
The Genty hype got to me, and I was like, I didn't. Everything in my fiber of my being, everything I learned about football says this is a bad idea, but him, he looks cool. Broken tackles. No. I'm taking the Texans in this one. How about you?
I'm taking the Tennessee Titans.
Ooh. Texans 0-4.
Titans.
Should I not do the Survivor?
Bo Hart agree.
All right.
Can I just say something about Cam Ward? I'm just going to keep making excuses for Cam Ward until I literally die, till one of us passes away in 80 years.
If Cam Ward has no fans, I am not on this earth.
Every time he made a mistake in college, it was as a bit. It was a bit every time. Watch, he threw 2 interceptions in college that were sailed in Miami last year, and they're both against Virginia Tech. Every other mistake he made was being like, what if I did the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life?
I like Cam Ward. I think the Texans defense is going to put the clamps on. I mean, it could get ugly.
No.
But I'm not going to blame him. I want to be clear. I'm not going to blame him.
I will blame everybody else. I mean, Calvin Ridley, how many... First, Cam Ward's dad doing an incredibly dramatic... You saw this, right?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, my God. Everybody needs to look this up. So, against Denver, they were obviously dropping the ball all the time. And on like the 8th drop, they showed Cam Ward's dad, Calvin Ward, and he dramatically walked into the aisle. He was sitting in the nosebleeds. He walked into the aisle and just grabbed like the aisle, like the rail, just dramatically like, this team is going to kill me. And that's how I also feel watching this whole thing.
You should get one of those, like those shirts that are like, if you're a fan of someone, it has like a million pictures of them. Like at this, you should get one of Cam Ward. They must make them.
Yes, I think he's going to be an amazing quarterback.
He is. Every taker I've seen has defended him this year. So,
and also some people who weren't in on him are now in on him.
Yeah,
I will say this, and I said this after the Broncos game. We're in danger of what if Mahomes was drafted by the Bears. That is the timeline we might be viewing here. That if he goes to the Bears in 2017, what happens? We're in danger of seeing that.
Colts Rams is a great game. Is this the game of the week? It's up there. No, we got Ravens Chiefs. Okay, Colts Rams is incredible though. It's a really good game. Anyway, sorry. I just remembered something.
Did you remember that Cam Ward is the best quarterback in football?
No, I remembered that I have to cancel something that I planned for tomorrow. Anyways, it just popped into my head. An intrusive thought while I was talking about the Rams. Okay, you're on the Colts. I'm on the Rams. I'm going to go first on this. I think it's really important for the Rams that they get a lead and control. I know that sounds like a dumb thing to say.
Good stuff.
But I think the Colts offense has been able to kill people running the football with play action. They're using play action at probably the second highest rate in the NFL to the Rams. Both these two teams are the most play action centric, and Daniel Jones, this last week on play action, he's done 46% of dropbacks, went 10 for 11 for 137 yards. Jonathan Taylor has been amazing. Essentially, you want to get them out of that. You want to get them playing from behind. Both from a game perspective and also within downs, so that play action is off the table. I think that there's things that the Rams can take advantage of. Xavier Howard is a name I'm sure Sean McVay has circled to go after with his receivers. But I also think they can run the ball on Indianapolis. His run defense has not been great early on, 29th in EPA per play, 25th in success rate, and the Rams' rushing attack remains not terribly explosive, but very efficient.
I just remember something I have to cancel tomorrow. It was Daniel Jones' football funeral because everybody needs to apologize to Daniel Jones.
We're doing this week 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that maybe the Giants organization is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, Saquon and then Daniel Jones. Who's next to leave New York and have Julian Love's amazing in Seattle?
Russell Wilson. I'm kidding. Wouldn't that be amazing if Russell Wilson just goes to the Saints next year and just lights it up?
It's got to be someone, like Russell, who's not been good
Xavier
for them.
McKinney.
Xavier McKinney. Jeez, you're right. Wow, the track record of just leaving the Giants and falling out is...
Well, that's like the whole thing, like the Ole Miss thing where they had DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown, all those guys, and they won 8 games. Yeah. Like that's going to be the 2024, 2023.
DK no, it was neither who did the peeing celebration.
That was Elijah Moore.
Yeah, sorry.
What a program! What a program!
Colts. Daniel
and they have Lane
Jones.
Kiffin now, and his daughter's dating an LSU linebacker, and hard launched it the week of the game.
Our algorithms are very similar.
Yep. Okay, so here's my thing with Daniel Jones.
Okay.
He's doing things that good quarterback, sometimes you have a mirage and it's like whatever. He's pushing the ball down the field.
Yeah.
And the offensive line is better. That significant. They have
great.
PFF has them a top 5 offensive
they
line.
Look awesome.
Quentin Nelson is 4th best run blocking guard in football. They gave up 4 pressures, I think, to the Titans last week, according to PFF. So all of this stuff is coming together. And again, I'm starting to think. So this was a couple years ago when everybody's like, well, Joe Shane was good for letting Saquon walk because he wouldn't look good behind the Giants offensive line. Okay, that's worse. That's worse news for Joe Shane, that he built a team that was so bad that Saquon can't play behind it. And now I'm looking at this Daniel Jones thing and going, maybe that was the situation, that Daniel Jones couldn't play behind that offensive line. Now, he got an extension, Daniel Jones did a couple years ago, because he had a 40% pressure rate and he was still playing well enough to push the ball down the field. But now you're seeing him in a quarterback-friendly environment. You're also seeing Chris Ballard, like, he's made some mistakes, and he's never won the division and all that stuff, but he's hit on some draft picks. And they're a very athletic team. And you're kind of starting to see what this team is supposed to look like, and it's because Daniel Jones is playing competent football, which he couldn't do in New York.
Including Shane Steichen. What his offense
Correct.
It looks amazing. I think he's been one of the best
play
callers in football.
The tape guys have him as one of the best play callers.
It looks like it. I did misdirection. He's constant. I mean, he's so good at attacking defense's weaknesses.
I trust the tape guys like doctors, where like I don't really know anything about medicine, right? And so, but like when these guys like Kurt Warner's, like Shane Steichen's got an amazing playbook. I can't evaluate playbooks. Like I can evaluate a lot of things about football. So I'm just like, I trust you as if you have a PhD.
It's like when you go to a mechanic and they're like, yeah, this is going to be $700. And you're like,
well, you have to go, really?
Who
you have to go,
am I?
really? And then they say,
I'll make a show sometimes of like Googling in front of them. Like, what is the thing that's being fixed? I'm going to go Rams here. Should have beaten Philadelphia. No, the Eagles fans don't get mad at me, but like obviously they get blocked field goal. Like they should have won that game. I think that the Rams offense there's a lot of things that they can do against this Colts defense. I think, but I think game script is, I kind of think if either team pulls out to a lead, it's over. I mean, I know that sounds dumb, but when you have teams that run the football and use a lot of play action, it matters more.
We don't need Kurt Warner for this.
Who do you have?
I have the Rams. I just I flipped a lot. I had the Rams making the Super Bowl all summer, and then Matthew Stafford started to get wheeled into an Airstream cryogenic chamber, and I decided that the Packers are going to make the Super Bowl. And now that I see it, I'm just thinking maybe it was the Rams. Maybe it was the Rams all along. I'm not going to change my pick, but I believe I saw a stat. I was doing NFL Live over the summer, and I was talking about the Rams defense, and I saw a stat that was just unbelievable to me, and I've been thinking about it ever since, which is that last year Verse and Fisk had the most pressures by a rookie duo in history, and the record they broke was the rookie duo from the year before at the Rams. So you're looking, and like, so I talked to Les Snead at the owners meetings, and he said that it took them 5 top 100 picks to try to replace Aaron Donald, and they kind of have done it now. Yeah, and I think that's in aggregate.
The pass rush is great. The secondary is not. I thought Quentin Lake was really good in the Eagles game, but outside of that, so it kind of every game I'm looking at the opposing offensive line. Can your protection hold long enough to take advantage of the mismatches through the air? The Colts maybe yes, to be honest, because that offensive line, as we talked about, is really good. So this is the close one for me, but yeah, I'm going to go Rams. Okay, you have Jags, Niners. As of this recording, we still don't know if it's going to be Mac Jones or Brock Purdy. We do know that Nick Bosa is out for the season. Woof, woof. Niners defense has been really good this year. Jags coming off of a win over the Texans.
I have a matchup for you.
Give it to me.
The Jaguars are the quickest team to pressure in the entire league, and we know who that is. That's Josh Hines-Allen. I mean, that's Trayvon Walker. We know what that looks like. Mac Jones has been really good at getting the ball out very quickly and taking the open guy. And so I'm looking at that. I'm circling that. Can the Jaguars get any pressure on Mac Jones, or are you going to let Mac Jones dice you up? And I'm going to pick the Niners in this one just because, because I think they win that matchup. And also, we talked about Ricky Pearsall earlier. We can talk about a little bit more about him.
He's great.
He is really good.
His toughness at the catch point is so impressive to me. There was a back shoulder ball that Jones threw to him, and I thought, I don't know about this. And I feel like he is able to consistently make some of the more impressive catches I see like every week.
And not just that, just as like an indicator. We were talking earlier about how you take best player available, and that if you live by that, good things happen. The Niners weren't desperate back then for a receiver.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to figure out how the Ayuk thing was going to work out, which it didn't. But I think they took Ricky Pearsall because they believed in Ricky Pearsall. Like if Kyle Shanahan goes out of his way to draft a guy, unless it's Trey Lance, it's usually a pretty good indicator. And I just think, Ricky Pearsall was on an awful Florida team. He's saved a couple of games single-handedly. The toughness is there. The team obviously adores him. I think he's a star in the making.
This is a hard one. Mac Jones was on the Jags, by the way, so it's a Mac Jones revenge game if he plays. I have such a hard time getting a feel for this Jags team personally because I feel like the stars are so up and what Brian Thomas Jr. are we going to get in this game? It's like really difficult to tell. The Nick Bosa injury is very close to making me pick the Jaguars, but I'm going to go Niners because I think the run defense holds.
I agree.
But I don't. This is the Bosa injury makes me nervous. Okay.
Did you watch Liam Cohen's post-game speech
this week? No.
The vibes. He's a much different person than I thought. First of all, he's tall as hell. He's in the Kevin O'Connell zone of
This is a lot.
You meet him and you're just like, what is happening
football
right now?
guys are kind of weirdly tall.
Yeah, well, they're all former quarterbacks.
Yeah, right.
And they're all 6'4".
Yeah.
And so that's part of it. And then he's a little more, and I've made this point before. We got to stop going off of social media and early press conferences because the Duval thing is not who he is at all. He botched that one, but he's actually a way more confident, borderline cool guy. I think he was Victor Cruz's college roommate at UMass.
He was. Yeah. I think it's very hard to get to that level without being very confident. It's like the first time people saw Ben Johnson talk and we're like, wow, he's kind of cocky. Yeah, no.
There's been a couple of guys where
we're not actually
not actually confident.
Name names after.
Yeah.
Okay, Ravens Chiefs. I'll go first. Kansas City. This is in Kansas City. I guess this is the game of the week. Well, freaking desperation game, right? The 1-3 Ravens against the 1-2. Sorry, one team's gonna be 1-3 after this.
Yeah.
Okay. So for Kansas City, this is pretty simple. If they can't run the ball downhill on Baltimore, I'm out. Freaking out.
It's over.
It's
Mahover.
It's not even the Kansas City rushing attack versus the Ravens run defense. It's not even like the meme they're having a mid off because mid implies average. This is truly weakness on weakness. And we talked about this after Monday Night Football. The Ravens really struggled defending very specific type of run. Duo, between the tackles. It's what to do, Kansas City. Can they do it? I was messaging with Jeff Schwartz about this.
Yeah.
There was a 2-play sequence, by the way. This wasn't a duo runs, but in the Giants game on Sunday Night Football where they ran a sweep with Brashard Smith that went for 5 yards, and then immediately they flipped it, put him in motion again, and handed off Pacheco, and he got 10 yards, both plays under center. And we were watching that, why don't they do this more often? Why don't they, creativity and misdirection and putting Mahomes under center in the run game? They just don't. It's the run game, the way their run game is very specific. There's reasons why it's all, inside zone from the gun. It's part of their RPO game, but it's clearly not working. Here's your opportunity. Show us you can run the football because the Ravens cannot stop the run.
I'm going to flip this for 1 second. The Ravens, according to Next Gen Stats, first team in the Super Bowl era to score 100-plus points, have 300-plus rushing yards in their first 3 games to have a losing record. A lot of that is the turnovers. But and a lot of that's the defense. They're playing sloppy football. And I don't think anybody necessarily. I was there in Baltimore. There was such a confidence there in the preseason. They really believed that they were going to have a special season, and I thought the Malachi Starks pushing Kyle Hamilton into a different role. I thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. And now I'm looking at this and going, oh man, this is not what I thought. And on the other side, I thought the only way for the Chiefs to sort of reestablish themselves is that by far the AFC's best team was for Mahomes to develop the deep ball again. And last year, I think he was 34th in deep passing or something. This year, he has the exact same numbers. 4 completions, 15 attempts on 20-plus air yards. Exact same numbers as Spencer Rattler. And Xavier Worthy being out certainly hurts
Back
that.
for this game.
Yeah. And so that's the one, I thought maybe and when you talk to people in Kansas City, it's a mixture of everything. It's like it's the offensive line not being as good in the last couple of years, and then Xavier Worthy felt like he didn't just have the downfield chemistry with Mahomes. Travis Kelce not being able to be himself as explosive. So I don't know how they get that back. I don't know if you just see those numbers, if it can come back. But I have to see. You mentioned like the better players thing. Like, the way for them to just blow out everybody is for Mahomes to just start pushing the ball on the field. Now, I know the too high shells and all that stuff, but he's done it even with that.
Well, I think what will be interesting in this Ravens game is if the Ravens defense and Zach Orr, like, they try to stop the bleeding by putting more bodies in the box and bringing down a safety. And then, to your point, if they do that, can the Chiefs actually respond by attacking them over the top and taking advantage of one-on-ones? But you gotta... They have to run the football to even force that issue. So that's my key for this.
Should the Chiefs trade for Jameis Winston?
Possibly.
Yeah, that's the move.
Come in and throw deep balls.
That's the move.
What is your key for Kansas City?
I mean, my key for Kansas City...
Or, I'm sorry, for the Ravens.
Oh, for the Ravens.
I'm
okay.
City,
well, I mean, first of all, don't stop giving up 30 points a game.
Yeah, really.
That would be... That's my note.
Good note.
I don't have we been disappointed in Zach Orr the last 2 years? I mean, they made that switch and they become the best defense in the NFL because the way they deployed Kyle Hamilton late in the season. Maybe there's a switch to be made, a move to be made.
You got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out, right? You got to figure it out right now because it becomes a math problem at some point. And what I think is, I mentioned the confidence part. On the first day of camp, Kyle Hamilton told me that John Harbaugh wrote on the whiteboard just the phrase "gradually then suddenly," which we as educated people know that is an Ernest Hemingway quote about going broke, oddly enough, but that's not the way he was using it. He was using it as like, it's been a slow build. This is the year, right? And to have to be searching for answers again in week 4 is not what they anticipated. Yeah. And I don't even know. I'm not a good enough defensive mind to know what that switch could be. I leave that to the tape guys. But there has to be something because it's not. This is not working.
The other thing is, like, the run defense doesn't have to be what it was last year. It doesn't have to be the best in the NFL. Just be average. Just don't be the worst in the league. Because I think, you saw too in the Monday, like the offense just starts pressing when they fall behind, when the defense, and I mean, the Henry fumble obviously was pretty. I'm not worried about the offense. I've said this, but it just, they got to get it fixed. I'm going to take Baltimore in this one. I'm just not convinced by what I saw from the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday night offense. Yes, they hit Thornton a couple times. I just don't have faith. Like, I think the rushing attack will be better. They'll look better this week, but I don't think it'll be enough.
When I did that exercise asking listeners what they know about their team, a Chiefs fan said to me, the Eagles have stolen the Chiefs' voodoo. Like, they remember the Chiefs used to have these, how'd you miss that kick? Like, how did this guy fumble the snap? Like, the Eagles are getting that now. This feels to me like a Chiefs voodoo game. Like, I just feel like weird. Everybody's making mistakes.
I think it could be. You're right. It's in Kansas City.
It feels like a dropped interception into a receiver's hands.
Something
for
silly
a 45-yard
happens.
touchdown.
Worthy being back is big. They haven't really had someone who can win on outbreakers in this offense. It's something they were doing with him. And even if he's not a deep threat, I think his ability to get yards after the catch could be big against this defense. But yeah, I just think the Ravens offense is better. So, okay. Bears Raiders is just me. I just wrote, can the Vegas offensive line approach competence in this game? Bears defensive line is not good. They're 30th in pass rush when teams have been able to run on them. This is, coughing baby meets coughing baby. Because the offensive line has just completely derailed the entire operation in Vegas. Geno Smith was under siege this week. The run game, Ashley Jetty's just getting absolutely killed behind the line of scrimmage. Watching the offense, it reminds me, it's funny because for Geno in particular, it's not that I don't think Chip Kelly's like a fraud or anything like that, but I feel like he's running into the same problem that Ryan Grubb ran into when he came to Seattle, which is it's really hard to do all your cool stuff when you can't run block or pass protect.
Well, they're getting in a lot of third and long. The second down play calling is really bad. Like they're running. It just, I don't think Chip Kelly's a fraud either, and I think he's evolved quite a bit. Like the knock on him, if you guys remember, at the Niners when he was head coach, so he didn't evolve his offense at all, and he did it in college, and he did it at Ohio State. So I don't think he's a fraud by any means. Having said that, it feels like he's running plays that he knows aren't going to work, that I know aren't going to work. And again, I'm not Kurt Warner.
I'm going to take the Bears in this one. Felt like, well, will I? I really don't like this Bears defense at all. Never mind, I'm switching. I'm going to take the Raiders. I know the Bears are coming off the
I want to be
hype.
on the other side of you on this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Bears.
I think that the offense can continue building on what they did last week, but I just don't like this Bears defense at all. I think last week the Cowboys got really lucky with the Cowboys losing Lamb.
I have a stat that I want to say, but I'm going to save it for the next game because they're related.
Here comes the Cowboys.
Yay!
Packers, Cowboys.
No one in the NFL has allowed more than 2 passing touchdowns thrown 20 yards in the air, okay? Except the Dallas Cowboys, who have allowed 5. So double anybody else and +1. That is horrific. And so my question is, and I picked the Bears in the last segment, but it's fine. My question is, like, are they just generationally bad at allowing explosives? And that's why Caleb Williams looked that good.
Right.
But to spin it forward, if
both.
Jordan Love doesn't get explosives this week, then it's over.
I think that the Packers offense is gonna roll.
I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be
ugly.
I think it's gonna be Jerry Jones afterwards, just saying, "Well, we knew it wasn't gonna be perfect."
Isn't it kind of crazy that before, when all the rumors first started floating about the Micah Parsons trade, the first person I saw to post this was our colleague and friend Bill Barnwell, and I've seen other people lean on it without crediting him, but he pointed out before anyone that the Cowboys offense with Micah Parsons was like a top defense, a top defense in the NFL, an EPA per play, and then without him, they were the worst in football every time he left the field.
Yep.
So he points that out. They trade Micah Parsons, and they're arguably the worst, maybe bottom 3 defense, and like it was all so predictable.
I have, that's correct.
Right, like if everybody saw this coming. It was like a slow-moving train wreck.
Here's why the Packers are going to win this game by an incalculable amount of points. They're going to have to get a NASA calculator to calculate the scores at the end of this, okay? We talked about getting first downs on first down, how that's sticky, and then just getting first downs in general is sticky. On defense, the Green Bay Packers are the best defense at limiting first downs on every down, particularly first down. They only allow a first down on 9% of first downs and then 63% overall. Those are both the best in the NFL on defense, okay? The Dallas Cowboys are last. They have allowed a first down on 78% of the chances here. They're tied. I just want to say that they're tied with the Cincinnati Bengals, the Colts, and the Dolphins. So they give up a first down on 25% of their first downs, and they are a horrific defense.
This game might have the best defense in the NFL and the worst defense in the NFL. I think we agree.
That is correct.
That the Packers defense wasn't why they lost to the Browns. They were phenomenal in that game. Yeah, this is going to be ugly. No CeeDee Lamb. Like this.
And I liked the chunk play to Matthew Golden last week, the 34-yarder. It's been a quiet few weeks for him, but like I think that's the kind of thing, especially if you can't get going against the Cowboys defense, and they could throw us out there.
Yes.
So there's that, and I'm just last week, and this is the NFL, and I want to like Drew. I'm doing radio, ESPN radio on the weekends with Drew Butler. He was a former NFL punter, and he said that Mike Tomlin used to just put on the whiteboard there are 5 plays that determine the outcome of every game, which is correct. Like, you just think about high leverage. You don't know which, maybe with a couple third downs or whatever, but you don't know what plays they're going to do before they happen. But it felt to me when the Packers played the Browns last week, Matt LaFleur took the blame for Love even passing before the Grant Delpit interception. He said it should have just been a bootleg run and just live to fight another day. but they just made a stupid play calling mistake. Love put it up for grabs. He didn't see Delpit on the play. And it felt like a fluky loss to me that they're going to avenge. And I have no concerns about it. We talked about how nasty that Browns defense.
I was going to say, I think that was just like, wow, the Browns defense is amazing. If I mentioned this on Monday's pod. I do have concerns about the Packers offensive line and their run game that I think they need to get it figured out.
Zach Tom needs to come back.
This is a great opportunity for you guys to figure it out. You got to go up again. I mean, the Cowboys are the slump buster of the NFL. Like, oh, you're down? Like, pick it up.
What's Zach Tom's injury situation?
I don't know. He came in. Then he felt bad, and they said they regretted playing him. So, but I agree, it's a big deal.
Will Anderson was on my show a couple months ago, and I said who's the best offensive lineman in football, and he said that. Zach Tom. Yeah. And Packers Twitter, like crazy. It's at the top of my notifications all the time. Well, Packers fans just retweeting it.
He's making a case with his absence in some of these games. Okay, so I'm obviously gonna take the Packers. I assume you are too.
Yeah.
2 Monday night games, both absolute bangers.
I love it.
Watch ESPN. Jets Dolphins is you.
Well,
I'm
going to start here.
0-3 versus 0-3.
This is it. We're getting Joe Brady down to Fort Lauderdale. The Dolphins' defensive line has not been as good as maybe it should have been. They've been getting whipped up front.
Yeah.
The Jets allow the most pressures in football, and it's not even close. Okay. The Jets quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor, they've been pressured on 51% of their dropbacks. No one else is even above 43%. That would be Mr. Cam Ward, who is being failed by his supporting cast. So this is, you mentioned like the get right games, right? Like this has to be a get right game for the Miami front seven. It has to be. And this is, in watching how teams defend the Jets, it shows you why wide receiver twos get paid so much. Like remember a couple of years ago when people like T. Higgins starts to get paid and Devontae Smith gets paid, and you're thinking like, man, that's a lot for wide receiver two. And then you watch the Jets where it's Garrett Wilson, and then they're just sitting on Breece Hall, and they're just like, try.
Right, yeah.
Well, do you guys even have a second receiver? That to me is a roster thing that needs to be fixed there. It's tough for Garrett Wilson, and so I actually like. I know it sounds crazy. I like the Dolphins in this one.
Yeah.
I think that they can get right here.
Don't know if it's Tyrod Taylor, Justin Fields at the moment.
We don't.
I think Taylor didn't play great, and the game was close. And I mean, and as a Jets fan, you're not trying to win a lot of games this season. Close losses are kind of usually when we think about like a year one disaster class, or like when a coach comes in year one and the team is bad and they're rebuilding. Close losses is kind of like I know they're not going to say this, especially it's week 4. You want to win games, but it's not the worst thing to happen. I'm also on Miami in this. I think the Miami offense will be able to move the ball in New York pretty easily. I think that defense is really struggling.
Yeah.
Okay. Bengals, Broncos. So this is my game.
Thank God. I don't want to talk about this Bengals team.
I think this is a real opportunity here for Bo Nix and this Broncos run game, which hasn't gotten off the ground. Here's your opportunity against Cincinnati. And then the Broncos. The funny thing about the Chargers-Broncos game this week is the Broncos defense was unbelievable. Like every Justin Herbert completion was made with like 5 guys in his face to like Lad McConkey with another guy like climbing. Like they were so good in that game. And the Chargers won by the grace of Justin Herbert going superhero, and then Bo Nix mixing some deep passes that were open, to be honest. So I'd like to see him make those this week. I'd like to see them run the football better, but I doubt that the Broncos defense can light him up.
Is there, and it's going to be hard with the Saints. Is there a case to be made here?
Oh boy,
that the Bengals are so bad, this could end up being a David Robinson situation, and the Bengals are going to be able to get like Reuben Bain.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm sure Bengals fans are pretty close to rooting for that outcome
we're only,
over the let's hold serve. And
we're only 11 months away from Ruben Bain and Mike Brown being in a dramatic contract standoff is what I'm trying to tell you guys.
In some ways, it's better than muddling along, Joe Burrow rushing back from injury to try to make it for a failed playoff run. Let's just be bad. Yeah, I don't know. I thought Browning would look better than he has. To be fair, the Vikings defense, he has the Vikings and the Broncos back to back. Good Lord. But for me, this is much more about the Broncos. The offense has just been quietly so I feel like people have kind of ignored how underwhelming the Broncos offense has been through the first few weeks of the season. I can't take this team as seriously as a playoff team until the offense shows more than they have. So here we go. Monday night, facing the Bengals.
One of the reasons I thought the Broncos were going to be good, really good, was I thought they had a top 5 offensive line and defensive line.
Yeah.
And top 5 defense. Yeah. And then I thought that the question mark, you can judge a team by its questions, right? And the question mark to me was, can Sean Payton raise the floor on Bo Nix? And I thought I would take that 10 times out of 10. And I have not seen that so far. And what's funny is Sean Payton, and I agree with him on this. But after, I think it was 2 weeks ago, he was like, listen, I'm not going to do a panic meter for Bo Nix after every game. I love the guy. And I do agree there's part of that where we can't overreact all the time to what Bo Nix is doing, especially when they're winning. But I thought I was going to see, I thought it was going to look a little better, year 2 Bo Nix.
Broncos offensive line first in pass block win right now. 13th in run block, which is it's last year they were first, but I'm taking Denver, obviously. I assume you are too.
I'm taking me going. What time is this kickoff? Is this another 10 p.m. kickoff?
I hope so. I'll be back in LA. I love it. I was like, oh, it's so late. It's 7 p.m.
I'm taking the under on a 10:30 bedtime on Monday. However, I will keep my TV on because I love my employer.
Speaking of loving your employer, Omaha Productions produces this show, your show. People go check out This Is Football. And also a pregame.
We are the top 2 football properties. I think they do something on Monday night, but I don't know what they're.
Yeah. They're also producing a pregame show called Breakfast at Bethpage. Hosted by my friend Colin Jost, friend of myself, not the podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, where were you going with that?
I don't know. I was going to say friend of the show, but then I remembered he's
actually friends with him.
He's a friend
but he's
of
never
mine.
been on your show.
Never been on my show.
Is he a football fan?
Yeah, he's a Giants fan.
Oh.
Him and his brother.
It makes sense.
His brother is a comedian.
It makes sense that he would be doing something for Omaha Productions.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It's the Ryder Cup. You're really into golf. Oh, first of all, you can watch that at rydercup.com and on Peacock. Colin also hosted Pop Culture Jeopardy, by the way, and I did a clue for it. And I tried to watch it. I didn't know a single, and I like regular Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I didn't know a single. These pop culture people are nuts, by the way. The questions were so crazy.
What was it all like?
Like this
K-pop stuff?
No, it was all through the years, stuff from the 70s and 80s. But it was also the fourth word of this Taylor Swift song from a B-side.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay. So, but the Breakfast at Bethpage, check it out. You're going to be at the Ryder Cup. You're a big golf head.
I'm locked in on Friday. I'm taking the 548 from I don't even know what's Grand Central Station. That's how locked in I am.
The Ryder Cup, of course, is the U.S.
versus Europe. Used to be versus Great Britain, and they had to expand it. We were too good. This is something we do with basketball, and and then hockey was actually electric when they did it with hockey. Sort of did it the Four Nations thing. Are there enough players to do this in the NFL outside the U.S.? No, there are not. But you're not going to believe this. I've given a lot of thought to this. I've thought about this quite a bit. Mina. Okay. The way to do it. So every August, the NFL releases this data of the states that produce the most players. And the
Florida,
Texas, and California.
Yeah.
And I think you can even regionalize it even more.
Okay.
And I think you split up Florida, you split up California. It wouldn't be fair, right? But I think you can do regions of the country: South Florida, North Florida, East Texas, West Texas. I don't know Texas enough to figure out. Maybe you have to separate
Texas
Dallas and
is
Houston.
pretty big.
You have to separate Dallas and Houston.
Dallas and Houston.
Okay. And then you have a tournament to determine the best. That would be it for me, is like South Florida versus Southern California.
Yeah.
Right? So you think about the NFL players who are from South Florida, right?
Yeah.
You have Patrick Surtain Jr., you have the Bosa brothers. Like, you just start Geno Smith, who I assume would be the quarterback of South Florida, or Lamar Jackson, excuse me. Lamar Jackson from Palm Beach County. Geno Smith would be the backup. What a great backup he would be. But you're looking at it and you're just saying, there's so much talent in America. Yeah. That's how you have to do it. You would not be able to do, you know.
What if you just did the Mississippi? If we just won, and we had all the West players versus all of the East players. So then you get Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, California versus Florida.
Yeah.
As long as you have California on one side, Florida on the other, and I guess it's Mississippi. You're getting
Mississippi
Texas.
starts in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So Joe Burrow's you saying Joe Burrow is the backup on Team East?
He's hurt.
He is. That's a good thought.
Mahomes is Texas.
Mahomes. I was gonna say Mahomes is a tough one.
I left him out because I forgot.
Yeah,
where the Mississippi
I think it might be West.
I like this idea. West versus East definitely won't devolve into weird culture war stuff. People will be totally cool and normal about it.
Definitely not.
Yeah, Jordan Mailata is the only international player I could think of who I thought.
A couple guys born in London, I think.
Okay, all right, well, that'll do it for today. Go check out the Ryder Game pregame show, Breakfast at Bethpage, Ryder Cup pregame show, pardon me. Check out Kevin's podcast, This is Football, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you, as always, to my friends at Omaha Productions who make this show, Kirsten Sebecki, Owen Saylor, Tucker Toshton, Jack Foster, and I will be back next week with Dominique to talk about those thrilling Monday night games.
Wow!